I wasn't going to get into this as early as I am, this criminal front group Media Matters, but I don't like these little fascist operations that are out there, like this one. They're un-American. And this little fascist operation, the criminal front group Media Matters, is un-American. Coming right out of the big mouth of its leader, David Brock. David Brock, who will switch sides in a minute, depending on who's paying him. This from Politico. Oh, that's painful, isn't it, Brock? What are you going to do about it? He says here, the strategy that we had towards Fox was basically a strategy of containment. He's the chairman and founder of Media Matters, the criminal front group. The new strategy, he said, is a war on Fox. That word war. I'm sure the David Frumites and the David Brooksites and the rest of them are going to be wholly offended by the use of the word war. In an interview in a 2010 planning memo shared with Politico, Brock listed the fronts on which Media Matters, which he said is operating on a $10 million plus annual budget, is working to chip away at Fox and its parent company, News Corp. They include its bread and butter distribution of embarrassing clips and attempts to rebuke Fox points, as well as a series of under-the-radar tactics. Media Matters is assembling opposition research files, not only on Fox's top executives, but on a series of mid-level officials. See, folks, what they're trying to do is intimidate and censor. These are Stalinist-like totalitarian tactics. Yeah, this group is not merely a non-profit organization. Its activities are encouraged by the mainstream media. It works closely with Democratic donors like George Soros, and it operates on behalf of and with Democrats in and out of government. So when it talks about systematically digging up information on employees of a news operation, that sound a little Stalinist like you? To you, rather? No doubt for the purpose of intimidation, character assassination, and ultimately censorship. This is where the left is. Take a look in Wisconsin, what they're trying to do to a Supreme Court justice who's running there. They want to take him down. His name is Prosser, because they feel they can replace him with a leftist who will overturn the will of the people. Look at how they've changed voting in this country. A voter ID, suddenly that's racist. It's controversial to want a voter ID to ensure that people who are voting have a right to vote. It's racist to want to secure the border. In other words, everything that we wish to do to promote and protect the civil society, they attack. And they attack it all the time. So that's why the criminal front group Media Matters, that's why it's an important matter. It could be any group. But this is the official left-wing Democrat fascist operation through which money is laundered as tax-exempt for political purposes. And that's why it's long past time for the Internal Revenue Service to take a good look at it. There's something else going on in Washington. The majority leader of the Senate, Harry Reid, has declared war. Am I allowed to use that phrase now? Has declared war on Tea Party activists and the Tea Party movement. Not just Republicans, not just conservatives, but he has singled out the Tea Party. This from the Hill newspaper. Harry Reid says, I'm extremely disappointed. By the way, you notice he's always extremely disappointed? Extremely disappointed that after weeks of productive negotiations with Speaker Boehner, Tea Party Republicans are scrapping all the progress we've made and threatening to shut down the government if they don't get all their extreme demands, Reid said in a statement. The division between the Tea Party and mainstream Republicans is preventing us from reaching a responsible solution on a long-term budget that will make smart cuts while protecting American jobs and preventing negotiations from taking place over the weekend, even as the clock ticks toward a government shutdown. Well, truly the hapless Republican leadership in the House, I said when this was occurring, they've boxed themselves into a rhetorical corner now. And slime balls like Reid and Schumer, now these are top-flight demagogues. They're going to work this hard. But that said, we have the facts on our side. How many people do you think are going to be convinced with a Democrat proposal to cut another $10 or $11 billion on top of what's been cut, quote unquote, as a smart and responsible approach to our budget? $3.6 trillion, $1.65 trillion in deficit spending just this year, and Reid thinks that he'll be able to persuade the vast majority of the American people that the $20 billion total in cuts that he and his comrades support will be satisfactory to you. And he believes he'll be able to take that and turn it against us and hit us over the head with it. Well, I'm a little nervous about that Republican leadership and their capacity to respond, because truthfully, it is they who should be on offense, and it ought to be Reid who's defending what he's done to this nation over his entire career, and particularly in the last 2 years. But instead, our guys are busy issuing press statements, playing defense. But the point further is this. He's attacking the Tea Party movement. Now, this is very interesting to me. He's trying to divide the Republicans from the Tea Party movement. He doesn't understand that it's not about dividing the Republicans from the Tea Party movement. The Tea Party movement's already divided from the Republicans. The Tea Party movement is a force unto itself. The Tea Party movement is a grassroots, spontaneous movement, not a Republican Party movement. The Republican Party is trying to respond, and in many ways rejects the Tea Party movement. And so it is. When Reid starts attacking Tea Party activists as the reason why there is a breakdown in negotiations, we, the conservatives, we who seek to protect our Constitution and our financial system and our currency and so forth, we ought to take him up on his challenge. He's attacking us. Gives a damn what the Republican leadership says about us. He's attacking us. Harry Reid. $20 billion out of $3.6 trillion. Let me tell you something. Harry Reid pisses that away in 3 or 4 days of reckless spending on Capitol Hill. I don't think it's going to work. Oh, don't get me wrong. The lib media will be there at every national park. Look at this. Look at this. You can't go see this bear or that species or whatever. Let them do it. We'll be talking about saving the country. They can be talking about somebody not being able to go visit one of our national parks.